guys, I wanted to make a really quick video. I am back in my bedroom, as you can see, and the reason I'm here is there has been a theme recently on Facebook and the YouTube comments here about people questioning a lot of my growing methods or just different things, or assuming that because of the casual way that I post videos that I'm kind of a beginner and don't really know what I'm doing and I'm just kind of experimenting. And while I haven't ever put myself up to be an expert by any means, I thought it would be a good idea to come on and give you guys a little bit of assurance about me and who I am, since I realized I've never actually talked about myself here on my YouTube channel. And so I'm just going to give you guys a little peek at my plants as I'm doing this and a little bit of an explanation of who I am and why I make videos the way I do. First off, I have been a green thumb ever since I can remember, and my room has looked like a jungle for about 20 years. Yeah, about exactly 20 years. And in that time, I have had multiple businesses. I was a wholesale grower of rare herbs and plants for local nurseries for about a 200-mile radius. By the time I was 14, I owned my own business and was doing that, and that things just kind of went from there. I kept growing plants and expanding what I liked. I am kind of a research geek. Well, more than kind of, I am a research geek. And for whatever reason, odd information about random plants sticks in my head. And so it works well, but I do get to be a little bit obsessed sometimes. And over the years, I have done multiple, I don't even know what you call them, classes, and such as I have been a master gardener for many, many years and done various classes on soil and chemistry and growing and organic gardening, mostly focused on natural and more sustainable type methods. So I really enjoy growing a really wide variety of plants, but right now succulents are, and for the last few years, succulents have been one of my main passions. And as I've said in multiple videos, but just kind of as a flyby comment, not really in a very clear way, I have been extremely ill the last 3 years, deathly ill and in bed and unable to even sit up or walk into the other room myself about 99% of the time during the last 3 years. And so in that time period, I have had a lot of problems come up with plants that I wouldn't usually have, because I would usually be paying a lot better attention and not ignoring my plants. And so as these problems started creeping up more and more, I started thinking to myself, you know what? I need to just make some YouTube videos about these problems just for myself, and so that I can then look back in a few months and see if what I did worked, remember what I did for one, and see if it worked, etc. And so I started doing that just for myself, and I had them all private on a YouTube channel so that no one could find them. And as it kept going, I started, as I was in multiple plant groups and things like that, and started kind of, I don't know, expanding my online plant world, so to speak. I had always been more local, but online I hadn't been like a part of a lot of plant groups and stuff. Well, once I started doing that, people started asking me a lot of questions because I was able to answer them. Not all of them by any means, but the few that I was being asked. And so I made a couple of YouTube videos for just a couple people to just answer their question, and I thought, well, no one else will ever find these, so I'm safe, because I'm kind of shy. Even though I love plants, the whole making video thing is a bit much for me. I'm a little geeky and shy. But anyways, I lost my train of thought. Okay, yes. So as far as the problems the problem videos started being the ones that I got asked about the most and the ones that I started making the most. And because it seemed like on YouTube, most people were just videoing their plants when they were really happy and perfect, which is fun to watch, but not exactly helpful if you're having a problem that you can't figure out. And so with all of these problems creeping up with me being sick and not able to keep on top of stuff, it just created a perfect opportunity. And so that's why a lot of my videos are on problems and what I've done about them, or what I am doing about them, because they've gotten to a point where I can, or well, where I have to is a better point, deal with them, but where I can show them where it's a bad enough, mealybug infestation or something, so that you can actually see it, which is great for videos, but something that I might not have a chance to do if I wasn't so sick and neglectful of my plants. And on that note, as far as being sick and neglectful of my plants, the other thing I wanted to comment, and the other thing that has been a little bit confusing, it seems, to people, is because of my setup, because of being sick, I have a ton of plants in my room, which I would probably have anyways. I love them this way. But it looks like I just kind of throw them in and hope for the best. And yeah, and don't really know what I'm doing, and don't really know their light requirements or anything, and just hope for the best. That's exactly what it looks like. Actually, it's not the case. I have multiple setups that I rotate these guys in and out of, so that I can enjoy all of this prettiness. And some of them, of course, don't require to be rotated. My tree there gets plenty of light, and some of the pathos and ferns and different things get plenty of light as they are, and don't need to be rotated. But most of my succulents, unless they're in a southern window, and even many times when they are in a southern window, for a lot of them, in the winter, that's not enough. And so I have 2 grow light setups, which I will hopefully do videos of soon, but they're just getting all set up again for the winter, because I had torn them apart and changed some things up from last winter. And I also have a garage that is attached to our house, a shop, and a setup in there so that plants that need dormant periods, whether they're, like the Venus flytrap or else tropical cactuses, that they have a great place where it's 50 to 60 degrees to have their little dormant period here in Idaho. As you can see, it's November, I think the 3rd today, and we have snow outside. But these guys, the reason I'm able to enjoy them the way I am here and have it looking pretty and green is because of rotating them. And some of them, how I rotate, like with this glass globe, for example, this is I believe a Graptosetum California Sunset, which they're usually a bit more compact, and they turn this reddish pink color if they're getting enough light. But the reason these guys are here is because they look good. I love them on this chair. And so I don't care that they stretch out. Whenever they stretch out, I just pull them out and cut the heads off and put them under my grow lights, and they reroot, and I put a couple new stems in here to poke out, and they just grow here until they etiolate to a point where I feel like they need to have new ones. And so sometimes I do things like that because I have so many plants. I can just snip a couple stems and poke them into something else. But if if this was your precious sunset, California Sunset Graptosetum, and you didn't want it to etiolate, you might see it sitting here on my table here and think, well, if it was more compact in some of the other videos, these particular stems were, you might think, well, how come hers doesn't need so much light? Hers was fine. No, unless I am specifically talking about a plant and telling you this is what I do or recommend, then just seeing plants sitting around, please don't assume that they're in their best habitat, because some of them are and some of them aren't. And some of the less light requiring ones, like the Haworthia, I don't have to rotate as much, but many of them I do.